And welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. Yeah, we are here with another video because there is so much going on right now at Barcelona. Already today, over on More Talk FCB, we spoke about Eric Garcia, we spoke about Emerson, Sergio Aguero, Erling Haaland, but there is still more to come. Coming up today, we have huge words, and I mean huge, from our president, Joan Laporta, on the changes that he's going to make this coming summer. We're also going to be talking coaches. That, of course, could be one of the big changes with Xavi Hernandez and also Hansi Flick discussed in today's video, plus the latest on Antoine Griezmann, who continues to be linked to an exit at Barcelona, and could Joao Felix enter that particular deal? It is all coming up. There's so much to discuss, so sit back, relax if you can, and let's get to it. Because let's start first of all with this news on Xavi Hernandez, which broke originally last night, and there have been many things following on from that, because it originally came there from a journalist called Javi Miguel. Basically, there's somebody who's very close to Xavi and often is very reliable when it comes to all things Xavi Hernandez, and he claims there that Xavi was actually offered many months ago now the chance to become the coach of Borussia Dortmund there. Back when they were sacking Lucien Favre, they were then looking for a replacement. Apparently they went to Xavi, they offered him there a 2-year deal with the option of a third, but Xavi said no. He didn't want to go to Dortmund, he did not want to join anyone there that was not Barcelona, because also there, Miguel claims that Xavi has not only received interest from Borussia Dortmund, but also from the Brazilian national team, who apparently also approached Xavi there with an offer to become Tite's assistant coach up until the 2022 World Cup. Before then, the agreement was going to be, after that World Cup, Xavi would take over as the full coach of Brazil, and that was also news there that was confirmed by Globo in Brazil, so that is certainly something that is very reliable. But again, Xavi said no. So here he is receiving some big offers from Dortmund, from Brazil. Now, these aren't people who are only going to Xavi because he's connected with their club. Clearly, they've seen potential in him, they've seen his work over in Qatar, and it is a very good thing that Xavi's work is clearly being appreciated. Now, of course, many people will say, should he have gone there? Should he have accepted one of those offers, gained some more experience, proven himself a little bit further? But I can understand really why Xavi said no. At the end of the day, it's his dream to coach Barcelona. That's the ultimate job for him. That's all that he wants in his own mind, and he knows there's a risk. You look at somebody there like Luis Enrique, who went from Barcelona B, he went to Roma. It was a disaster. He tried to challenge himself, he tried to go elsewhere, and it didn't work out. And it took him several years then to get the opportunity again to step into that Barca job. Xavi knows that he's close right now. He knows that the job isn't all that far away. His time is coming, but is it right now? Because according to the media in Barcelona, Joan Laporta is not quite convinced right now. I don't feel as though Laporta is 100% certain that, the time is now for Xavi Hernandez. I think here Laporta wants to bring Xavi in at some point, but he wants it to be the right time. He doesn't want to bring him in too soon and ruin what this could be. And as a result of that, and given the fact that Xavi doesn't quite appear to be right now Laporta's first choice, according to Rack 1, who are hit and miss, they're not the most reliable news outlet ever, it does have to be said, but they say Hansi Flick remains Laporta's #1 target. And I personally can believe that. Laporta there apparently has already spoken with the people surrounding Hansi Flick. He's already approached them many weeks ago now to hold those initial discussions. And I do think that Flick matches what Laporta wants to do this summer in terms there of really ripping up this squad, bringing in a different mentality, a different voice there, somebody who's not going to be afraid to come in. He's not going to be attached to any of these players. He could make some serious changes. But as we've said before, Flick seemed to be on his way to the German national team. He was going to take over there from low, he was going to become the German coach, and that could still happen. But Rack 1 say that as of right now, nothing is signed, nothing is 100% confirmed. Those talks between Barca and Flick, they will continue, and he's still, as of right now, is an option. Which does bring us nicely on to that change. Because we've all been speaking now, to be honest, for as long as I can possibly remember, about this change that we want to see at Barcelona. About the fact that here, Laporta, he's the man who can do that. He has the authority and he has the bravery to make the changes that we want to see. And yesterday evening, that indeed was really, really confirmed. You can see right here, Sport coming out this morning with the big headline, "A cycle is over." And they're quoting the man himself who was speaking last night at an event. He spoke publicly on what he wants to change. Because Joan Laporta said, "I always said that we'd assess the team at the end of the season in terms of performances and in terms of results." He did say we won the Copa. He said we are proud of that win. But he did say we were eliminated from the Champions League far too soon. And he said the league has been lost in an incomprehensible way. Laporta there, angry about that Champions League exit, and especially the league there, an incomprehensible way is the way that he describes it, which doesn't really seem to be a good thing there when you're looking at the future of Ronald Koeman. But quite clearly, Laporta here, he's not only thinking about the coach, he is thinking about the players too. Because he went on to say, a cycle has come to an end and we are working on a renovation. He said, I'm talking about the end of a cycle and I'm talking about renewing the squad because it's what I believe has to be done. And then he went on to say, and I mean it, I mean that I'm going to make this change. He said, starting next week, he said, you're going to see a series of decisions, a series of changes that we're going to look to make. He said, what we have to do now, he said, is work very hard. We've got to be effective in our work. He said, we have to have a competitive team to win the Champions League and to win leagues. And I think hearing those words there, obviously we were hoping that Laporta was going to bring this kind of change. And of course he still has to go and do it. But right there, he's not hiding. He is not a person that is going to hide away and hope that things fall into place. He's going to make them happen. And quite clearly, he plans on that renovation. He believes a cycle has come to an end. And that is what we've all been asking for now for many, many years. But I do also want to talk here about Antoine Griezmann. Now, he's not necessarily one of those players who for many, many years have let us down in those big games, but he is somebody who this summer, his place is in jeopardy. He is one of those heavyweights that the club are willing to listen to offers to. We spoke yesterday about his astronomical wages, and the news there about Barça being open to those offers was indeed confirmed as well last night from Fabrizio Romano, who's often very, very reliable when it comes to transfers. And it's not just that either when it comes to Griezmann, because even last night as well, it was very, very interesting to hear Atletico Madrid's president actually speak publicly there on a radio station in Spain, and he was open that he would accept Griezmann back at Atletico Madrid because he said Griezmann is a magnificent player. He said, I hope that we can bring him back. He said, I don't think, though, that Barca would let him go. He said any club would love to have him. He had magnificent seasons here, and he's a friend of mine. And that was an interesting statement because Atletico Madrid there, I don't think Griezmann left in the best of the ways in terms of the fans. I think they felt in the end a little bit betrayed by Griezmann, rightly or wrongly. But I think in terms of the hierarchy, Griezmann still gets on pretty decently with those in charge at Atletico, and quite clearly they would be open to a return. But the problem would be, where are they going to get the money from? They do not have anywhere near the kind of funds, especially given the pandemic and everything like that, to pay the 120 million or anything close to what we paid them back in 2019. But that's interesting too, because they have a player of their own who they signed with that Griezmann money, who they paid a huge amount for, who maybe they don't feel right now they're getting the best out of either. Joao Felix. Because although the president, in that very same interview, he said, you know what, Joao Felix is not going to leave. He has a future here. He's somebody who we feel we can get the best out of, and when he does explode, he's going to be one of the best players in the world. But this season, Joao Felix has not seen eye to eye with Diego Simeone. Those two really don't seem to have gotten on very well. Tensions have risen right throughout the season. Joao Felix has not really been given a full-on role in the starting lineup. Simeone wants more from him. He keeps demanding more and more. Felix doesn't really seem happy about that kind of treatment. And there have just been a few, and only a few, rumours in the media about a potential swap deal there between Joao Felix and Antoine Griezmann, Atletico and Barca there doing business together once again. And it is an interesting thing to think about, because on the one hand, for me, they're very similar players, which really doesn't help us at all. We are looking this summer summer for a natural number 9, a natural forward there to go and play in the penalty area. Is Joao Felix that player? No, he isn't. So in that regard, he wouldn't really add an awful lot, you would say, different to what Griezmann does right now. Off the pitch, though, you kind of understand it. You kind of see there a few positives to that potential deal. The fact that he earns more than half of what Griezmann does in terms of salary, that is significant. He earns much, much less than Griezmann does. And of course, the fact that he's nearly 10 years younger than Antoine Griezmann himself. Now, right now, I honestly don't want to look too much further into this. I don't want to read too much into this kind of swap deal. I think it will be very, very complicated. It will be a difficult move to make happen. But I'm just putting it out there right now because it has been rumoured, and it is interesting. Given the two clubs' connection, and given that Griezmann this summer, he is not untouchable, as we discussed yesterday. So please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Like I say, there is so much going on right now, so let me know your thoughts on the coaching situation by way of Xavi, and indeed our interest in Hansi Flick. Let me know your thoughts on those quotes from Joan Laporta, and also on Griezmann's future. Would you like to see a swap deal for Joao Felix? Would that work? Let me know all that in the comments down below, and I will see you soon. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça!